Hi Capricorn, this is your horoscope for June 2017. Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Now, from the 24th of May going through until the 10th of June, we have Venus conjuncting Uranus. Venus is the planet of love and beauty. Uranus is the planet of rebellion and eccentricity, and both of them are in Aries. Aries is the sign of the ram, and it's very aggressive. It's kind of like, I'm going to push through this and I'm going to be independent and only think of myself. They are conjunct, which means they become this mishmash of energy and they blend their energies together, and it's in your fourth house of family. So Capricorn, you're really going to insist on being the boss when it comes to family matters during this period, and you're going to be difficult to deal with if you don't get your own way. So if you're a parent, that's great. But just don't be overbearing. Be aware that you have a tendency to really just want your own way and not to be considerate this month, and to really just want things done your way. As long as you're aware of that, I mean, you know, we all have, as a grown-up, we all have self-control, and even if, you know, you do feel like you want it your way, you can say, okay, well, I'm aware that this month that's kind of heightened, especially until the 10th of June. So I'm just going to be aware of that and maybe let other people speak, or maybe compromise once in a while. On the 5th of June, Mars moves into Cancer, and it stays in Cancer all month. Mars does not like being in Cancer. It's the archetypal male principle. It likes to get things done. It likes to move forward. And Cancer is about nurturing other people. It's not about the self. So Cancer in your 7th house of relationship is really frustrating because it adds to that Venus and Uranus in your 4th, and you don't have time for people contradicting you. You do not have time to mollycoddle people. You want people to do as they're told. So you really need to calm down a little bit and be aware of this, because the combination of your planets are really making you rather strident. My way or the highway. And we all know that that's not sustainable. People don't like to be treated that way. So deliberately, you know, again, the astrology is an indicator of what the energies are and what potential is there. So you have the potential to be really obnoxious here. If you're aware of it, you can work with it and you can deliberately become compromising, which is what I would suggest you try and do. On the 6th of June, we have Venus moving into Taurus, and again, Venus now stays in Taurus for the rest of the month. Venus is in your 5th house of romantic relationships, and it's very sensual in Taurus. You also have Mercury in Taurus in your 5th. Mercury in the earth sign of Taurus is much slower than it usually is, and it's very earthy and grounded, and it's much more about symbols and visuals and seeing things and communicating through visible, tangible things rather than ideas and thoughts and words. Okay, so that Venus in Taurus is going to really give you the desire to be intimate with your romantic partner. Now, if you're single, it's not the greatest time to date, Capricorn, because with the energy as it is, you may come across as a little bit arrogant or uncompromising. It's just the way the energy is. It's not the ideal time to date. If you're in a relationship, it's also not ideal because you're so focused on being the boss and being in charge. At the same time, you want intimacy and you want a physical connection. That's not something that you can force, you know, and we're getting into really dodgy territory here now. So really be aware that you need to discipline yourself in June by having a daily spiritual practice that keeps you in check a little bit, because I think you've grown a little bit too big for your own boots. The best way to use this energy is in your working life. That's where this strident, bossy energy will work, because you've got Jupiter, the lucky planet, sitting in your 10th house of career. So use this energy to really make yourself the boss in your working life, or to take on more responsibility. If you're self-employed, then that's an irrelevant point anyway. Or if you're employed, start doing something on the side where you can really say what's what goes, what's important, what's not important. But when it comes to your relationship side of things, that's where you have to pay the most attention. That's where you could potentially run into problems here at the beginning of the month. From the 7th of June until the 21st of June, we have Mercury moving into Gemini, and Mercury loves Gemini because it rules that sign. In the 6th house, it sits next to your midheaven, which is your transiting midheaven, which is about work, and your sun is in Gemini in your 6th house of day-to-day routine and work. So this month, really, you have a major gift for work and career and really getting yourself to the next level. So work really hard and put everything you can into your working situation. Don't worry so much about relationships here in June, and focus on work. I think it's not the ideal month for your love life, but it is the ideal month for making work progress. So you could do something amazing that lands you a promotion, or you could make a lateral move to another company where you get paid more and get more recognition. So that is really the big luck factor. So you've got a case of extremes here this month. Real good luck at work and not such good luck when it comes to your relationships. That Mercury is in Gemini until the 21st of June, from the 7th until the 21st. So this is really the 2-week period where you can make the most positive changes to your work. So even apply for new jobs, or if you're unemployed, great time to do job applications, really fabulous. On the 9th of June, we have the full moon in Sagittarius. I will make a separate video on the full moon as well as the new moon. I do that every month because they are complex and I go into more detail. But for you, Capricorn, the full moon in Sagittarius happens in your 12th house. And the full moon is a completion point. The moon showers us with its energy. This one is a complicated one because it's got Saturn sitting on top of it, which is restriction, and we've got Black Moon Lilith sitting on top of it, which is repression. So it's almost like you feel that you've made progress, but it's not enough. And that is why you feel like you have to be the boss so much, because if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. And things aren't moving quickly enough and I really have to go and do it. So your patience is the problem here. And around the new moon, not the new moon, the full moon around the 8th, 9th and 10th of June is when this feeling will be at its highest. It's really interesting because if you felt like you were making more progress, then you wouldn't be as bossy and then you wouldn't have so many problems in your relationships. So try and achieve what you want to achieve in your working life, and that's going to have a positive knock-on effect to your work, because that's why you're so bossy, because you feel like you're being too slow, you're blaming yourself. So let go of that blame, just calm down. You know, you don't have to get everything done. It's okay if you do 80% or 90%, and that'll just take the pressure off. And I think that's what you should focus on. That's the key word. Just try and relax in June and don't make it so intense because it's too much at the moment. On the 16th of June, going through all the way until the 22nd of November, we've got Neptune going into retrograde. Neptune is the planet of dreams and aspirations and imagination and intuition, and it's in your 3rd house of communication. So you've got the moon in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and Chiron sitting in Pisces in your 3rd house of communication. What's really going to give you a sense of ease and comfort is communicating with a power greater than yourself spiritually through something like meditation or yoga, or actually through communication by doing something like writing or expressing yourself creatively. That's going to work. Okay. Neptune is responsible for inspiring us. It's like the Ace of Swords or the Ace of Wands in the tarot. Okay. When it goes retrograde, because it's kind of a passive planet. The information comes in, so it's received. It doesn't go out and do. It receives things in. So when it's retrograde, when it's perceived to go backwards, it gets even stronger because it's even more passive and it can take in more information. So you're really being inspired. That connection in itself will feel meaningful, and also writing will help you get rid of some of these negative emotions that you'll be dealing with in June. On the 16th as well, Mars begins to trine Neptune, and Mars again in your 7th house there with Neptune. It's much better for you to communicate and to create a monologue and to share your ideas in some tangible format than it is to create a dialogue or to try and get someone else to see your point of view, or to argue, or to kind of bully someone into seeing things the way you see them, because you're going to have that tendency with Mars and Neptune coming together. I communicate correctly. I'm also very frustrated about other people in my life. They're not doing what I want them to do. They don't seem to get it. I'm going to educate them. So I'm sorry to give you a forecast like this, Capricorn, but really you're going to have to manage yourself a little bit this month, because there are a lot of sort of kind of challenging character traits here that you'll be experiencing that you have to kind of contend with, which potentially could cause problems for you and for other people. On the 21st of June until the 6th of July, we have got Mercury going into Cancer, and that's in your 7th house. Mercury in Cancer is emotional. It communicates on an emotional level, and it's empathetic and it's compassionate. So the problems that you've experienced so far now come to an end with Mercury going into Cancer. It stays there until the 6th of July, so you can relax from the 21st onwards. You don't have to be as disciplined. You automatically are more considerate and have more compassionate feeling for other people, which is going to then cause less problems. On the 24th, that's heightened even more. We have the new moon in Cancer. Again, I'll make a separate video on that, but that is pulling Cancer energy into your 7th house, and it kind of soothes Mars a little bit, because now you have the moon, Mercury and the sun in Cancer. They take over, and it means that you go from one extreme to the other. So the frustration and the selfishness that you had at the beginning of the month is now replaced with selflessness, and you're going to want to nurture and take care of other people. Again, I would say the biggest luck factor and what you ought to focus on here in June, Capricorn, is your work, because that's where you can make the most progress, and that's where you can really achieve great things. So I would knuckle down and really get busy, and you can create wonderful things, make more money, and even possibly get a promotion, because you do have that ability to be in charge. So that's what I get for you in June. I hope that gives you something to go on. If you'd like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to well, if you enjoy my videos, then please subscribe, because it's really important for me, and it's a big help to me. And in terms of my personal readings, what I do is I draw up your birth chart. I use your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, I can use sunrise, or I can rectify the chart. And that allows me to look at what your life purpose is, what your vocational aptitudes are. I can also look at your strengths and your weaknesses, and when I look at your progress chart and your transits, I can look at what's coming up for you in future, how you're developing as a person, how you're going to continue to develop, and how the external environment is going to affect you over the next couple of months and years. So To do that, visit gregoryscott.com and order the reading there on the readings page. I will speak to you next month for the Capricorn forecast for July. I hope you have a wonderful June, and I'll speak to you next month.